So we'll continue from where we have left, and let us come to the code. This is what we have left, example 2, and this is the CSS. And these are the classes that we have created and we have used in this FLEXBOX class. We'll quickly see the output. So this is the output. Now we want this try for free to be in a button as we have here. Try for free. So I'll create quickly a button class and I'll show you how we get that output. So coming to the code, we have put a btn class here. I'll come here and add a dot btn class, and this dot btn class will have the color, padding. So these are the some of the properties that we need. So I'll quickly create the background color. So background color will be black. Then I'll create the color. Color will be, suppose I'll give it something light color. Then I'll give padding. Just give 14 pixel and 32 pixels. Okay. And then I'll give maybe border radius to make it curvy and beautiful, and we'll remove the border. So border is none. And now let's see the output. So this is what we want, and here we have got this button. So this looks close to what we wanted to create. The distance between home boundaries commonly is less here, so we can come to the code and we can decrease the left margin from in between links to be 10 pixels. I'll come and see. So now it looks good. Now what we want this thing, the post and the social in your pocket. So we have two parts, one on the left side and one on the right side. So this left side will call as post and the right side will call as a sidebar. So to create this, let us start with the code. I'll come here, and now below the FLEXBOX, what we want to design, we showed you in the beginning itself that we want something like, okay, that image is not coming right now. So in the beginning, we saw the image, and similar to that, we want to create. So let's come to the code. Here, I'll create a division. And in this division, what we want is we want two parts. The main container will have post container and the sidebar. So we'll have a class equals to main container. And in this main container, we want two parts. One part will be div class equals to post, and one will be div class equals to sidebar. So these are the two div that we want, and I'll only write here as post just to check how it is coming, and here I'll write sidebar. Let's quickly see. So it's post and sidebar coming one below another. Why? Because we have not used flex. So if we use flex, it will come one side by side, both of them, and then we can design it. So let me first design it. In the post, what we want is an image. You can see here the example. There will be an image, and then there will be some heading, and then will be some description. So I'll come to the code, and in the post, I'll use an image, and in the image, I'll use https source dot unsplash.com to take the photo. Let me give the size as 600 by 700, and then I'll use suppose salad. Okay, and then I'll use a class post image, and then I'll use some description. For the description, I'll use h3 maybe. Stay fit, eat salads daily, and then I'll give some description of the words. Okay. So now if we see here what we are getting. So this image is taking a lot of space. Why? Because we have not used any CSS, so it is coming in the default size. I have to give some size. For that, we have already mentioned that we'll be using a class post image. So I'll quickly go here. I'll start with post and post image. So let us see how to design. So if you can see here in the code, of this post, we have a post class and we have a post image class over, and then we have a sidebar. So we'll have to create these three classes: post image, and sidebar. So I'll quickly go here. I'll start with post, and in the post, I'll first mention the width. So width can be 500 pixels. I'll try to do some border. Border is 1 pixel. It is solid and it is light gray. Okay. Then I'll give some padding. Let me give the padding as 10 pixels. Okay. I'll also use some margin of 10 pixels. And then I'll give border. This border radius is of 16 pixels. Okay, so post we have done. Then I'll use the post image, post img. And in this post image, I want to fit the image into the container. So whenever we want to fit the image inside the container, we use 100%. So 100% will fit the image in the container. And maybe I'll give border radius also. Border radius colon 60. Okay. So post image, both are done. And now we have one more, that is the sidebar. So I'll quickly also create the sidebar so that we can have some clear idea how it is looking. So we have a sidebar. So we have a sidebar class, and I'll only mention width here. Width is 300 pixel as of now. And let me give border. Only use border on the sidebar. So I use post image, and sidebar. These are the three classes that we have used. So in the main container, we have post image, and sidebar. The classes are defined. So let us see the output. And here comes the post and then we have a sidebar, the post and the sidebar, one below another. Why? Because we have not used flex. So if we use flex, then the sidebar will come to the right side. So I'll come to the code again. See, we have a main container. In the main container, we have two elements, div and this. This is the post div and this is the sidebar. So in the sidebar, uh, sidebar. So in the sidebar, we have not, we have only used a sidebar text here and in this here. So now what we have to do, we have to create a main container and use display flex so that both this comes side by side. Right now it is coming one below another. See, this is one below another. Sidebar is below the post. So I want sidebar to come on the right side. So for that, I will use the, come to the code. Okay. Now we have to use this main container, and I'll quickly add one more class, dot main container. And in this main container, the one thing that is required is display is to be flex. So one thing that is required is display to be flex. So I'll use display as flex, and maybe I'll give some margin in the top. Okay, so I'll give margin in the top only. So I'll give margin top as maybe 50 pixels. And then I'll justify the content so that it appears in the center. So both the contents appear in the center. Now I'll come and see the output. Now see, we have a sidebar and we have a this thing, a post. So this is a post, this is a heading, this is the description, this is a sidebar. So this is how we can design using flex. Now in the sidebar, what we want, we have to say social in the packet, some description, this. So I'll put these contents, come to the code. Let's add some more content in the sidebar. So in the sidebar, I'll put some more content as we have discussed. So I'll add, or let me quickly add in the sidebar, H2. Okay. Social media of FB. Okay, then we'll give some descriptions. So then 20 words. Then I'll use two images. First image is icon. I already have these files, so it is appearing. When you will be creating, you have to first download the files or create files in Paintbrush, whatever. The files must be available. In my case, it is available. That is why it is coming these two. Okay, so let us come to the output. Yes, social in, oh, this is this one, social media of FB, lorem ipsum, this, and there are some errors. Let us see, have we not closed the tag, or there might be something missing. Okay, so we have this sidebar and media, social media of FB, and sidebar width, border, maybe we'll use margin left, so that comes properly. Let's see the output. Okay, and why is this coming? That means we have missed something. IMG SRC. IMG SRC equals to this. I did this. Did this. Okay. This. And some error. Now it is looking like this. Coming to the code once again, I'll use the IMG property. SRC is equals to icon this, and I'll give height equals to, or maybe 40 pixels. I'll use one more IMG SRC equals to icon. Okay. Close. I hope they're not coming now. Okay. Now, we can remove this border from the sidebar. For that, what you can do, you can come to the code, and in the sidebar, you will not use the border. So let us see how. So it is like this, which is pretty much similar to what we wanted to design. So we wanted to design this way, and this is how it is coming. So this is the sidebar, this is the post, and in the post we have a heading, we have this thing, the description of the heading. Now we can come to the code once again and try to understand the flex. So in the main container, in this main container, there are two things. This is the post and this is the sidebar. And we want these two elements to appear side by side. For that, what we'll do, we'll create a main container, and there we have to use the display is equals to flex property. So it both these elements, the post and the sidebar, will appear side by side. If we don't use the display flex, then first it will display post, then it will display sidebar. Now, coming to the output, see it is coming this way. We suppose we want to add some more post like this. So to add some more post, what we have to do, we have to copy this and paste it here. But these two posts has to be on left side, and this sidebar has to be on the right side. So for that, we'll have to group this. So we'll group this div, and now we'll close this div here. And now see, we have this div as one part in the main container, and then this is the sidebar. So these two will appear side by side. We can have any number of posts. First, we'll come to see the output. So now, see, we have we have two posts, one below another, and then we have this thing, right side bar. So now what we have to do, we can change some maybe images instead of salads, maybe, yeah. So, so we have two posts. I'll copy this and I'll paste it once more. So there's the third post in India. Instead of here, I'll use and I'll mention are a must. Now, if you see, Incredible India Games and Sports are the must. So we have three posts that are coming on the left side. We have this, and let us see something on the right side if we can add one more property, maybe sidebar. In the sidebar, uh, suppose we want to use sidebar position. So see this. So now, okay, sticky top equals to 0 when dimension. Sticky top. Try once again. It's not appearing as we wanted. I'll discuss that later on. Let me first remove this. This is contradicting with some property. I'll explain that why it was not happening. So it is ready now to be displayed like this. We have, and now what we want, if you see it here, we want this likes and this. So likes has to come above that image. So for that, what we have to do, let us come to the code, and we want one more image. And where should that image be displayed? That text be displayed on above this image. So what we have to do, we have to group this. And how we will group? Similarly, we'll use a div and we'll try to group this so that it appears properly and the likes are displayed as we want. So what I have to do is here, I'll create okay, I'll create a div and class equals to, I'll use likes. If class is likes, and let me give us some random number, and these two have to be grouped. So I'll create a div once again, and I close it here. And here I'll use a class equals to maybe post header. So we have used a class post header and we have a div post image, and then we have likes. So we have to create post header and likes. These two classes are required. Now what it is happening is, you can see it is coming below. What we want on this. So for that, what we have to use, try to remember, we have to use positions. So I'll quickly go to the code and add the positions property, where in the post header and in the likes. So two more classes are required. One is post header and the other is likes. Now try to understand it. Post header and likes. Why we are adding this post header and likes? Because I want the likes to be on the image. So for that, what we have to do, this post header, the position is relative, try to remember. And now if you see this post header, if you see the output, okay, this coming post header. Okay, let's come to the code, post header and likes. And in the likes, I'll use position colon absolute with bottom colon value 0. Now see, this has come above the image. So whenever we want one element above another, there we have to use position. And whenever we have to use one element side by side another element, then there we have to use flex. Now we have to decorate this likes, and for that we'll come back to the code and use some more property in the likes. So I'll give background color. I'll give the background color as a light color. Then I'll use maybe font size. It all depends on how big the font you want. Then we'll use border radius. This border radius will be of 30 pixels. Okay. Then we can also use margin. This margin can be of pixels. So we have a background color, we have a margin, and when we are using margin, let's add some padding. So the padding will be maybe 4 pixels and pixels. Okay. And now let us try to see. See, it has come very beautifully where we wanted. What we wanted this way. And see, we have got this. And we want likes also written there. So I'll come to code, and here we'll mention the likes. So whenever we want one element above another, so first of all, we have to group. And then in this group, we have to use two things. But first, we have to use in the post header, we have to use a relative so that something will come above another. And then in the likes, we have to use absolute, and then we can have the text above the image. So this is how we can use the position. Now, if we see the output, it is coming as we wanted. The internet will bring the images, and so it will start displaying. Let's wait for the image to come. Once the image will come, then it will look properly. It's very slow. So see how beautifully it has come. And this is what we wanted. Similarly, you can put likes here, put likes here. I used only on the first one, so it is appearing only on the first one. If you can see it here. Now, if we want this image of the user and then name and then some tag, then let us see how to put those things. Come to the code. This is what we have done. So in the first post itself, after this, where we have to post, let's come to the output. And after that image, we have to bring the user. So what we will do, before the heading starts, we have to use div. And in this div, we'll use an image of the user. So it is src equals to https://source dot unsplash sorry source dot unsplash dot com slash 700 by 700, and we want a user, maybe a boy, and then we'll use a class equals to image of the user, and we have okay. Let us see the output. What we want? We want the image, then this name, and these two things together, and then the image. So I'll quickly come to the code. I'll create the first of all IMG user needs to be added. So I'll use IMG. And in the IMG user, what we have to do, we have to put the height of the image. So height can be spot. And we want a circular image. For circular image, what we do, we put border radius is 50%. So the image we are done. Now, beside the image, what we want is we want one more thing, and that is the name of the user. So I'll use a div. And in this div, I'll use h4 class to name or username, you can say John. And then I'll put paragraph, and I'll use @ Sure. Now we have added one more div, and in the div we have one image, the class is already defined, and then we have a user. Let us see if we can get the output. So this is now coming this way. See, we have the image, then we have John Doe, then we have this. And how we want it this way. That means we have to use flex so that these two come side by side with the image. So to bring it side by side with the image, we'll have to use the flex property. And where we will use the flex property? We will use the flex property in the user class. So here I'll have to use a user class, div class equals to user. So that this is one element and this is second element, and these two elements appear side by side. This is one element, the image. This is the second element, the name. Sorry. So this is the first element, this is the second element. This has to come side by side. So I'll quickly go to the CSS. I'll use user. And here what we have to mention, display is flex. So I'll mention display is flex. Okay. And then we can say, let us see how it comes, then accordingly we can add some more properties. See, it has come this. So this has come to the right side of this image, but it is not looking proper. So I'll use some more CSS. So the items should come to the center. So align items, center. And we can say that, let's see how it has come. So this has come properly. Then we have to remove these gaps between John Doe and at the rate. There should be some margin on the left hand side. So we'll add some more classes, more properties here. Let's come to the code. So we have added user class. We have added image user. So now let us come to the name, and then we can add one more class to username, so that the distance can be minimized between John Doe and at the rate John 2022. And now we'll have to use name and username. So I'll come here and use dot name. So I'll use dot name class, and I'll use also dot username dot class. And in this, we have to use what we have to give the margin on top and bottom as 0, and left and right it can be 8 pixels. So this way, same here, we can add margin, and then we can give 0 and 8 pixels. Now let us come and see the output. So it is coming John Doe at, this is how. So here the user and these two combined with the user, this is displayed with the help of Flex. This image has a likes. This is done with the help of positions. This post and this is done. The social media comes on the right. This comes on the left. So this is again done with the help of Flex. So with the help of Flex, we can create very beautiful things. In these two sessions, we have created a header which has a nav bar. Then we have our right side bar. Then we have some post, and we have only used the box properties, the position properties, and the flex. Flex where we have used in the nav bar to bring these things in one line. Then here we have used flex to display the post and the sidebar. Then here the image of the user and the name of the user. We have used the flex. So I've shown you live situations where flex can be used to make a web page. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please follow, give some likes, and try to follow our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.